tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome back to the Supergirl podcast here at AfterBuzz TV. We are already on episode 17. We're almost to the end already. It's crazy, but this one is called Manhunter. And we are joined tonight by a very special guest here. We have Eddie McClintock, who plays Colonel James Harper tonight. Yay!
Thank you.
And
Stand down.
Yeah, he's pretty serious, so we might have a lot of structure to this.
Right.
He's timing us. We got to be precise tonight. And then my two lovely hosts.
Yeah, I'm Stephanie Wenger. Glad to be back with you.
And I'm Tauri Miller.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump right in because we got a lot to talk about this episode. We found out a lot more of the backstories tonight. What did you guys think about tonight's episode?
I loved it. I thought it was so high energy and so much going on, and that's kind of what you want towards the end of a season. It's exactly kind of leading you into that season finale.
Yeah. I feel like, especially since the episode 13 transition to the newer episodes, like they've just had so many things that you can't come back from, all these game-changing events every episode, and it makes you want to come back every week, and I do.
Mm-hmm. What did you, so we start out and everybody's kind of not trusting of Supergirl after what happened last week. So we see her having to try to get back in the good graces. Do you guys think that was going to go on a little longer? How do you feel about her struggle getting back?
I mean, I felt like it could have gone on longer for me because what she did last week was so awful. You understand why she did it now, but you would expect people to have a little bit longer reaction. But I felt like in the way how fast this show moves, it made sense.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's still affecting her. Like, we saw the scene at the beginning where everyone's running from her. It was like the criminals, the people she was trying to save, and even the police were cowering in fear. So I like that we had that bit of, I guess that spectacle. Mm-hmm. And also, you understand the people in the DEO still trusting her because they've been with her this whole time. They understand that she was under the influence of red kryptonite. So, I get that. I like that everyone, I guess the only person who didn't, who it was a little fast for was Jimmy. He was kind of like, hey, I forgive you now. But everyone else, I think it was moderate to good.
Yeah, I agree with you because they had such an emotional time at the end where he was struggling with it so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a little. And then you come into the show pretty right off the top to come in and take care of some.
That's right.
Business.
Some what is DEO, right?
DEO,
some DEO business, some cadmus mischief.
Mm-hmm. How was this role for you? You were telling us beforehand that you usually don't play the tough guy, so this was a little different role for you tonight.
Yeah, if anyone has seen my previous work, the tough guy isn't normally what I do. So this was fun to be able to play something different, and I was saying I probably did more acting in one scene than I did in 25 years of previous acting because, to play that type of guy and to try and pull it off without looking, too broad or, the audiences are very sophisticated these days, and I think that they can tell if an actor is lying, so... I just, I felt like I was doing the doggy paddle the whole way through some of those scenes because I was like, hope I'm not blowing it, and I guess we'll leave it up to the viewers to decide if I accomplished my mission of meandom.
You did not blow it. I think you did an excellent job tonight.
Thank you.
Speaking a little bit about your previous work, I read that you have been 45 different guest stars, 25 different shows, and now you have Warehouse 13.
I've been the star of several canceled television shows. I've actually been a stepping stone for some of the biggest names in Hollywood. And so I got that going for me. Yeah, I think Warehouse 13 was my 10th pilot. I had 5 other network shows prior to that had come and gone within one season. So it was nice finally when Warehouse 13 came around, and I got to do 5 seasons of that, and it was the best 5 years of my career so far. But now I'm moving on to other things. So
Just to step back from Supergirl a bit and talk a little bit more about you while we're on it. Like, how have you kept your attitude and your determination or focus after, to be going through that many and be just in this crazy industry, dealing with those kinds of highs and lows?
Lots of Call of Duty ghosts. Lots of my wife standing in the doorway looking at me with my eyes bleeding, and she's like, "Are you still playing Call of Duty?" I'm from Ohio. I grew up wrestling and playing football. I kind of what was instilled in me from my father is kind of this: don't ever give up, just keep going. Life is filled with adversity, and I mean, this is definitely one of the most adverse businesses there is. There's a lot of even when you think you've reached a level, you find out just how much you have not reached any kind of level at all. So it's hard. It's difficult, but I don't have a choice. What else am I going to do? I could go home back to Ohio and dig a hole. That's what I'm qualified to do. So.
Yeah. Well, how did the Supergirl role come about then?
Andrew Kreisberg, who is the exec producer, he and Greg Berlanti are doing Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legends, and Andrew was a co-EP on Warehouse 13, and he left in the 4th season, and he said, we had a good relationship, and he said, one of these days I'll pull you into a show that I'm doing, and people have the best of intentions when they say things like that, but a lot of times I've found over the last over the last 22 years that I've been acting, that rarely does it happen. And so I have a lot of respect for Andrew. Not only is he a great writer and a good guy, but he's a man of his word, and he tracked me down and pulled me in. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry Tang, who's the co-producer on the show, he directed an episode of Warehouse 13, and Chris Fisher, who directed this episode, was our our supervising director on Warehouse 13. So it was kind of a warehouse palooza of sorts.
Yeah, the reunion.
Yep.
That's great.
It was nice.
Yeah. What was it like? Can you tell us a little bit about your shooting schedule and your experience on set?
Whenever you do a guest spot, it's kind of like showing up to somebody's front door with your sleeping bag and saying, I'm going to, crash out in front of your TV for a couple of weeks, because they have a system and everybody, has, what they're doing. They're it's like a little caste system there on the set, and you never know what you're going to walk into. For me, I had done Witches of East End with Jenna Dewan last season, and she saw me the first day before the table read, and she just couldn't have been nicer. And I mean, she's just like insanely cool. So it was like, oh, Eddie, it's so good to see you. And so I was like, I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of belong. And then in 2004, Kyler Lee and myself and Maggie Lawson and Christopher Gorham. Yeah, Christopher Gorham, they did in Entertainment Weekly, they did a piece on us. By that time, we had each, compiled like 20 shows, but all of them had been canceled. So they were like, when are these people going to make it? So it was great to see Kyler. She's amazing. Everybody on the show was great, and they accepted me and into the land of misfit toys, and so it was really great.
You had said also that you took the obviously the role seriously, but you also did study to how you should wear your uniform and prepare your uniform. Can you talk a little bit about that? To me, it's an honor to be able to play someone in the military. So I wanted to make sure that everything was done the right way. I wanted to make sure my uniform was correct. There was a point where I have my digital camos on, and I wrote a buddy of mine and said, how far do I have to roll up my sleeve? Because
those rules are there for a reason, and a lot of military people watching, they'll be like, "Oh man," it throws them out. It throws them off, and that's what they focus on. That there's something wrong with the uniform, and so I made sure that my sleeves were rolled 1 inch above the elbow, and that my medals were all correct, and I had all my buttons buttoned and stuff like that. So.
Really focused on the details.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into a little bit of the interrogations that we see you do tonight. So the first interrogation, we see you with Hank and going through his story. So what did everybody here feel about some of the things that we learned about his past tonight?
Yeah, did I suck or?
Oh no, I thought it was great because like the level of betrayal that your character had to portray, and the fact that like you knew from the moment he started talking to Hank that they had a history, and you feel all of the emotion wash over you, that like he's had this guy in his house and he's experienced all these things, and now he knows that they're all a lie. And I thought that was great, and the interaction between you two was amazing.
Oh, thanks. Especially the line where he says, "You've been around my children." I really wanted that to land. Excuse me. So I made sure to kind of lean in on that. It was just a choice to give it gravitas. David is, he's English. He's from the UK. So, right, David?
I don't know, actually.
David. The guy who plays Jean Jacques.
Oh, no, his name. I didn't know if he was from the UK. Yeah.
Oh,
Correct,
so it's not, before we run, he's like, hello. He's got more of a posh accent. And it's like the camera's running. He's like, so it's pretty amazing when actors can be so diverse, and he's big and muscular and incredibly handsome. I think I may have a man crush. Is it showing?
Blame, yeah.
It's coming out. There it is. It's on the airwaves.
Yeah.
What about, let's talk about the scenes where he's with Jeremiah, and we see the going over the cliff, and we get more of that. Did you guys enjoy seeing those kind of nuggets here tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, just the flashbacks. We had so many tonight. I feel like more than in a typical episode, and I thought that they kind of give you that sense of these characters and why the sisters act the way they do, and just it kind of gave you a greater sense of the interconnections between all these characters.
Yeah, I also love that Jeremiah and John could bond over the fact that his daughter is a refugee and John's a refugee, and like basically Jeremiah was being the ambassador that the DEO should be, and that they're interacting with all these aliens, and they realize that human beings, as well-meaning as we are can be ignorant, and so we should be taking these aliens in and trying to show them a new home, and that's what Jeremiah was doing. And then we had the other side of that being the Hank Henshaw Prime, and we see how much of a monster he was.
Yeah.
I love I'm sorry. I love that they bring Dean Cain in, which is cool. I'm wondering when they're going to bring Terry Hatcher in to have like a cat fight with Callista Flockhart. I think that would be good. I love seeing Callista be able to. It's almost like, I don't want to say she's reprising her role as Ally McBeal, but she's so good at that. What she does, it gives a nice lightness to the show.
Yeah, we've definitely have commented about that on here too. How much and I was a huge Ally McBeal fan, so I love it as well, because she's just her timing is so great, and just her snarkiness, and it really does balance out all the other aspects of this show really well, I think.
I agree with you. We've been talking so much about the behind the scenes of Supergirl, but if you want to hear more behind the scenes of Hollywood, you should check out our new AfterBuzz podcast. So if you're curious about a celebrity boyfriend's midlife crisis, used by old TV and movie references, then you're going to love The Tomorrow Show with our creator, Kevin Undergaro. He is Miriam Menounos' fiance, and of course the creator of AfterBuzz, along with AfterBuzz co-host and my friend Roxy Stryer and Ashley Daniels and others. They're all along for the insanity, so watch live Monday and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time on thetomorrowshow.com, or subscribe and download free on iTunes. Go to thetomorrowshow.com for more information.
Wow. Yeah. Look at you. That was amazing. I'm only like 3 IQ points above the short bus, and I'm looking at it like, no way could I do that.
Thank you. Oh, that's very nice.
You're in the right profession, young lady.
That's great. Well, let's talk a little bit more about you interrogating now Alex, so we find out some more things about her tonight.
Yes. Again, being able to work with Jenna and, when you're doing a scene like that across from someone, it's very intimate, there's a stillness and you can't move a lot, if you make your facial expressions too big and too broad, it's very contained. So I really enjoyed that scene, and I thought that Kyler's just such a professional, and Jenna is great too. So I thought that the scene flowed pretty well, and we get her in the end, so that was good.
And we get to see a different side of her as well, back before when she got recruited with the long hair party girl.
Right.
Yeah.
But she ends up in jail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too crazy of a night.
Yeah.
But did you enjoy seeing how she got recruited and how she got brought into this world?
Yeah, I did. I again kind of enjoyed seeing that flashback, and you see how the DEO has really changed her whole being, because you would have never guessed that she was you get the sense she was that party girl, and I wouldn't have never guessed that had we not had that flashback.
Now, is she a meta?
Alex?
Yeah.
As far as we know, I don't believe she is.
Okay, but we just found out that Roxanne, what?
Siobhan.
Siobhan, yeah.
Siobhan.
Yeah, Roxanne. I want to be your man. Yeah. Old
He's got a little of the low voice. I agree. You brought it out of him.
Man, there's some talent in this room. Yeah, I mean, wow. She used her liquor breath there at the end to keep her from smashing into the ground. So that was pretty good. That must have been some good whiskey in that.
Well, we're talking about her. Let's talk about the little maneuver she tried to pull to get Kara in trouble.
I know. That was
Ballsy.
such a low blow. I was just like, who would do that? That seems so mean.
Yeah, I think for me, it just seemed like a really silly plan to just be like, you know what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna send a really angry email to Cat Grant because that's totally what Kara would do.
Yeah.
Also, she has to know Wynn has all this technology. He's such a tech guy. Wouldn't he be able to trace the email?
And he did.
I thought the
absolutely.
same thing. And I mean, a giant company like that, there's not cameras probably outside, her office or on the elevator or somewhere too that would see her randomly coming back to the office after she's, let go.
An ill-conceived plan.
Yeah, she wasn't very bright on that one.
Yeah. But I did like her motivation. I mean, because essentially, in a lot of professions, especially the one that she's going for, there are those times where people feel like they have to be cutthroat. And, at this point, she's basically been blackballed from ever doing what she's always wanted to do. So, I get that she's doing desperate times call for desperate measures, I also like that she was still pretty much in a relationship with Wynn, even though, she was fired. So, kudos for Wynn.
Oh, we're on camera right now, aren't we? Because I have Copenhagen in my. That's what I was taking my Copenhagen. I'll pick that up. I'll pick that up. I swear to God, I'll pick it up.
You might not have been on because it was on him.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sorry. I'm a hillbilly from Ohio, so
That's why I see a lot of that in Nebraska. It made me feel at home.
There you go. You're a Husker.
From
huh?
a Husker,
There you go.
yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, are you an Ohio State fan?
We can go cow tipping. Later on.
Okay.
Did you ever do that? Cow tipping?
Everybody asks that. I never have, and not only that, I don't know a single person that has ever gone cow tipping.
It might be an urban legend. Yeah,
I think that's something just from the movies.
I think
Cow
so too.
tipping?
Because
Well,
my
yeah.
uncle actually was a cattle farmer, so we raised cattle. And I mean, you would think if we were gonna do it, we probably would have done it when we were little, learned how to do that on the farm.
Or
but we
snipe
didn't.
hunting, you go out snipe hunting. That was a thing that there's no
Never
such
heard of
thing.
that
What's a
No,
snipe
I've
hunt? Yeah,
never-
me
Or
neither.
a jackalope. How about
I've never heard
jackalope?
of jackalope.
Yeah.
I guess here's my question about that. How much do you tip the cow? 15% or 20%?
Eat cereal
Hey
all night,
now.
ladies and gentlemen, all night long.
Try the veal.
Tip your waiter.
Amazing. There you go.
Try the veal.
Now, did you wrestle there? Or how'd you get into wrestling? Or you just
I did.
college, or-
My father was grew up wrestling in Ohio, and he used to take me to the wrestling matches when I was little. I'd play with my army men in the stands when I was real little, and then and I remember seeing these giant, sweaty monster guys, and I knew I wanted to be one. So I wrestled for 12 years. I wrestled in college. I mean, I got whipped a lot, but. But, you know, it kind of, I think it made me who I am today. I played football, and I was a big jock in school. I didn't know, I actually designed the program cover for Little Abner, but that was as close to acting as I ever got until I moved to Los Angeles to sell corporate insurance for my uncle, and then he fired me after 7 months. And, yeah.
What a blessing in disguise, right?
Yeah, he does all my insurance now. He's like, all right, kid, you made good. So,
Yeah, I noticed on your Twitter account you had a lot of, you were really following the Ohio State wrestlers, so I didn't know if you wrestled in college there or just were a fan of
I'm just, I'm a Buckeye, you know, I'm a Buckeye fan. Are you a Buckeye hater or a Buckeye fan? Or do you have any, you couldn't care?
I went to USC, so
Oh, wow.
I'm a
There you
USC
go.
person. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think wrestling's a great sport for young men and for women. Actually, they got a lot of young girls that are wrestling. I think it's a good character builder. But this show isn't about that, so let's talk about something else.
All right. Well, real quick before we dive back into some more Supergirl, we know you guys enjoy watching podcasts like this and all the other ones here at AfterBuzz, and since they're all for free, we have to would love for you guys to give a little support to some of our sponsors. So, you know, changing the industry isn't easy, but we're seeing it more and more. So just think that thanks to new apps and startups, we're not using taxis or hotels as much. And now with Casper, the way we buy mattresses is changing too. So I love how these guys turned the commission-driven mattress showroom, like flipped it on its head. And it's not just me that loves Casper. It's the most awarded mattress of the entire decade. So it's named one of the best inventions of 2015 by Time Magazine, and it's a single perfect mattress for all kinds of sleepers. Whatever kind of mattress you like, they got it. And it's engineered for supportive comfort that guarantees a great night's sleep for you. So stay up and watch AfterBuzz and then crash out on there. And Casper ships its mattresses for free. So it's surprisingly a compact box, and you can try it in your home for free for 100 nights. So you can have
That's
100 nights.
That's a lot of mileage.
Yeah, you can have a lot of mileage on this mattress and then send it back. If you don't like it, they'll pick it up and refund you for everything.
But you'll like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're gonna be hooked. So for a guaranteed great night's sleep, choose the leader in their mattress revolution, Casper, and you can try it for free again for 100 nights in your own home with free shipping and returns. All you have to do is go to Casper.com and use the code AfterBuzzTV. It's AfterBuzzTV, and you get $50 towards the purchase of the mattress. So again, that's Casper.com. Code is AfterBuzzTV, and you get $50 towards the purchase of the mattress. Terms and conditions apply.
Well done.
All right.
And it's a friendly ghost, so that's
always.
see, that's two for one.
Totally. Okay, let's talk about, we had a reveal in this episode. So Supergirl reveals her identity to Lucy. We talked about when this might happen or if it was going to.
Yeah.
So
How does she do that? Is it kind of a
Totally.
No, it was one of those moments where I'd been anticipating it for so long that I somehow like wanted it to be a bigger moment than it was, and like it was really well done and there's nothing wrong with it, but I just like wanted it to be like her like see Supergirl saving someone. Like I wanted something a little bigger than like in her apartment, but still like an enjoyable reveal and something I've wanted for a long time.
Yeah, I liked it mostly not even just because of the reveal, but also because they became this like power duo. You know, like we spent the whole season where they're like pretty antagonistic because, you know, Lucy had James and Kara's in love with James, so you don't really want them to be friends, but now they're like this super duper badass chick duo, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. When they're on their motorcycles together and they're stopping your caravan, your truck, and they whip off the helmets. Stole the moment with the hair, but it's like I loved it. I liked that moment. So I agree. I like to see them. I like not having them battling anymore, and I liked her saying, "Oh yeah, now it all makes sense. I understand what this relationship with James was. I just didn't want to see it." And so I liked how it all came together too. And now I liked how she even was once she got the DEO position was like, "You're gonna help me, right?" And be there. So we got some more girl power tonight.
See, I was hoping that Lucy would see Colonel Harper being, manly and that she would want to hook up with him. So I pitched that, but it didn't go anywhere.
Maybe next season.
Next season.
Yeah.
Right? Season 2. Now they're still not there hasn't been an official pickup yet, or
I don't think so, right?
Not that I've heard, no.
Not that I've heard.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
it opened as one of the highest, not box office, but one of the highest ratings. The ratings have continued to keep going. I think next week's episode is also going to help it skyrocket. It's pretty much guaranteed. The show is too amazing.
Are they still doing Nielsen ratings? Because it seems so outdated and ridiculous. Such a ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. They
it's
still are,
Nielsen,
but
and it's also they do DVR ratings. They also do online ratings, and so it's a collection of different aspects.
Oh, okay.
So it's not as arcane as it was as an old person in a room marking down what they've watched.
When I was on Warehouse 13, my sister called me and she was like, "You're never gonna guess. They sent me a Nielsen box."
Wow.
So my sister I'll probably go to jail, and so will my sister now. But yeah, every week she was like, "Ding, Warehouse 13, ding, Warehouse 13." So
amazing.
thanks to my sister, we stayed on the air for 5 years.
that kind of solves the mystery, though, because everybody kind of asked, does anybody know anybody with a Nielsen box? And I never knew anybody growing up, and everybody I knew, they didn't, so it was always kind of,
I read
really
Yeah,
exist?
my sister had one.
I was so curious about it. I read a BuzzFeed article about what it's like to have a Nielsen box, which is a really bizarre article to read. But it's a whole thing where you have to fill it out, and interesting.
High tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell her just keep playing Supergirl every week so we can get this back
That's
next
right.
season.
Yeah, she doesn't have it anymore. They took it from her. I think they found out that she was, stacking the voting box.
This girl only watches Warehouse 13.
8 times a day.
DVRs. Watches it in syndication. Watches it live.
This chick really likes that show.
Let's talk a little bit more tonight about the huge reveal at the end. I mean, there was so much in this episode, but then at the end we find out that Jeremiah is still alive.
Yes. Oh, man. It's great. Because, it not only opens it up for this season, but, next season, we could have them popping in and out, being we have a little more information about Jeremiah. So, it could be this whole season-long arc trying to find him and Cadmus, which I love that they dropped Cadmus in because it's a big thing in the comics. I don't know if you had, researched Cadmus and, your character's role or whatever, but they're renowned. In at least the Justice League series as well, they had them as being one of the main antagonists to the Justice League, and they're kind of like Star Labs in that they do a lot of underground secret research,
some cloning and stuff. Don't they clone Superboy?
Mm-hmm.
That's where Superboy comes from, correct? Or some
Cadmus made a clone of Superman, and it became a slightly weaker version of Superman and became Superboy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because he had the webbed fingers. It was kind of, they were like, well, he's a good swimmer, but maybe not so much crime fighter.
Right.
So he's down at the pool as a lifeguard.
Yeah.
Down on
Then he
23rd Central. Next. Had you heard anything about James Harper and this whole Guardian thing?
That was
We're talking about we're going to talk to you more about that.
Yeah, everybody online was like, "Congratulations, you're the Guardian," and I'm like, no one has told me. But the fact that they are sticking pretty much true with what the comic storylines are. Mm-hmm. It would be nice to be able to come back and wear a swarthy cape. Because I look pretty decent in a unitard. Unless it's cold in there. If it's cold, you know.
When that
there
happens,
might be some shrinkage.
when that happens, you're coming back next season.
Okay.
In that
In
unitard.
the
Yeah.
unitard?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's see it.
sure.
Awesome. But yeah, I mean, how exciting is that to think that, you know, you go in for this role, you have any idea that now you're like, wow, that could possibly turn into
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, they did say that they wanted the role to be an arc, but because it was the 17th episode, they still had to, you know, close out the season, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to refit that storyline in and still get everything else in. So, you know, if the show gets picked up, hopefully I'll come back. It was it would be cool, you know, to be able to go on S.H.I.E.L.D. and play a Kree and have superpowers, and then be able to go to DC and be, you know, a superhero is kind of, you know, because I was a comic book guy, mostly Marvel when I was a kid, and you know, it's kind of can check that off the bucket list, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, man.
Now, you said you have kids, right?
I do.
Are
I
they
have,
into it?
9 and 10 year two boys, 9 and 10. You know, they could care less. they just could care less. I mean, they play Minecraft, and you know, I'm like, hey, I'm on TV. You know, like we were driving over here. I'm like, hey, you know, I'm on Supergirl at 8 o'clock. And Jack's like, huh? What? I'm on Supergirl at 8 o'clock. What's for dinner? Are we getting chicken fingers? Or I'm like, never mind. Can't be bothered. So he'll catch a beating when I get home.
Yeah. Rightly
Don't
so.
you know who I think I am, kid?
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Should we? Anything else on the episode? Anyone wants to touch on?
Nah, I mean, I think we covered a lot of our bases. I mean, I would love to jump into predictions, though.
Yeah. Do predictions and then come back and talk a little more with him.
I mean, either way,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, let's do predictions and we'll come back and ask you some more questions. If you're ready, you can say a few for me too.
I know. I was like, you really jumped into predictions. All
I
right.
was just saying, I have things to predict.
Get it out. We want to hear it.
Okay, guys. I mean, based off of what we know, we have a race episode with the Flash next episode. We just got Banshee. I think that this whole Jeremiah thing is going to come back before the end of the season, and I think that he's going to be someone in Cadmus that is on the wrong side of things. Like, even though we've had him be like super duper ambassador-y this episode, I think the natural arc for him will have him be someone on the bad side, just to show like whether it be via brainwashing or something to that effect. I think that would be the best thing, and I think that's going to happen.
So,
Wow.
wow, all right.
I think that, I like that. I think possibly what he's doing is he's taking these metahumans and he's sending them to Philippine sweatshops. And they're like making Nike shoes. Now that's just me.
Yeah. Using the powers to
I
good
think
use.
so.
You
Yeah.
know, that's my prognostication.
I'll let you do mostly because the predictions, but I think I'm just getting so excited because I love the way that this is building, and I
Yeah.
just like that now we're getting all these different, you know, different pieces in the puzzle coming together, and I just can't wait to see. I mean, I'm so excited for next episode with the Flash, and then I just can't wait to see where we're gonna get to by this finale.
I
can't wait.
After your interview with Grant last week, I was so excited about to see this episode next week with the Flash. It's going to be awesome, and I like when multiple superheroes come together. And I think you were mentioning that it kind of opens the door to all these collaborations, and that'll be really fun.
Yeah.
So.
I would also have a Guardian prediction in that I think that now that he's been not brainwashed, but now that he's had his memory erased by John Jones, and we know that John can implant basically thoughts and ideas, I think that that's going to be the beginning of his arc into being more of a hero. In that, like, right now he's a very stern, like, colonel, right? Yes. And I think that this is the beginning of him being like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I've had a little good planted in me, and I can kind of like start heading down that journey. And then I think that at a certain point he'll start wrestling with that, and that will be a really good arc for that character.
I like the way you think, kid. Do you want to be my agent? I mean, you know.
I got a pitch for you.
That's right.
So speaking more back to you,
Okay.
you want to tell us about any other projects you have coming up? We've heard about Shechter.
Yes. If anyone out there has seen, or if you guys have seen the Mark Wahlberg film Shooter, it's based on a U.S. Marine sniper who comes back from Afghanistan and retires from the Corps, but the CIA come in and they ask him to help stop a assassination attempt, and then things go terribly wrong. Ryan Phillippe is going to play the part of Bobby Lee Swagger, which was played by Mark Wahlberg in the film, and Omar Epps plays the Danny Glover character, the CIA character, and I play a new character that's not in the film named Jack Payne, and I'm also a former Marine that is now working for the CIA, and that's really all I can tell you about my character because I don't want to spoil it since it's not in the film. Mark Wahlberg is producing, and we just got picked up by USA, and we start shooting April 24th.
That's
Great.
awesome.
Congratulations.
So soon.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Whew. It's been 2 years since Warehouse 13. So, like I said, I logged a lot of PlayStation hours. So it's good to have a job, and it shoots here in the United States because Warehouse was in Toronto.
Okay.
So it was really hard because I didn't get to see my family,
Yeah.
for months at a time. So it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Do you know where they're filming yet? Is it here in LA?
In
or?
Santa Clarita.
Oh, so not bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can come say hi to me. That's where I live.
Ah, nice. Right on. We'll do lunch.
Awesome. Now, is there any, I mean, you've so many different roles and different characters. Is there still any sort of dream role out there for you, or a person you would love to collaborate or get to work with?
Excuse me. I have a lot of people that I'd love to work with. I really would like to do a film that talks about PTSD and really examines post-traumatic stress disorder for our veterans. And there's 22 veterans a day are committing suicide, and so I think we need to look at that as a society. These people need more support. So it's cool that I get to play a Marine, and when I am asked questions about it, I'm able to talk about veterans issues, and I'd like to do a film like that. I'd love to work with Robert Duvall or De Niro or Pacino or Chris Walken. I mean, these are all guys that I just I once did a scene with James James Woods, excuse me, and we stood nose to nose and had this really great power scene. It was like such a surreal thing for a wrestler from Ohio to be able to work with such amazing actors. So to pin it down to just one, I guess, is tough, but there's a lot of them out there. I actually I did a film called A Fish Story a few years ago that just is being released on Netflix in April. It's on iTunes right now. It's really just, a nice story about redemption and hope. There's no gratuitous violence or language or anything like that. It's just a nice, simple film about faith, and if you're into that and you want your kids to learn a good lesson about life, it's a fun film to watch. So
Great.
Check out.
thanks.
Did you now? I know you said to like 30, you were doing sports and weren't really in the acting world. Did you start training in acting, or do you use sort of your athletic mentality to approach your roles, or what's your process?
Well, I had been playing Frisbee on the beach for a couple years, and I started working as a production assistant. So I was sweeping up cigarette butts and getting people's coffee and crashing production vehicles. And a young lady who I kind of had my eye on was like, "Hey, I'm going to take an acting class. You should come take an acting class with me." And so I kind of followed her into acting classes, something that I always kind of had thought about, but I'd never really thought it was a realistic end for me. But I got into class and I realized that it was something that I loved, and I also I got sober. I'm 15 years sober, and so if I hadn't gotten sober, I would never, I wouldn't be here. Trust me. You'd be like, "Where is McClintock? He's 4 days late. So I got sober, and I didn't have anything else to do because I kind of had to walk away from a lot of my friends that were doing things that I wasn't doing anymore. And so I just stayed in class, and I took class, and I went to class for about 1.5 years before I even went on my first audition. So, because I knew when I walked in the room, I to audition, I wanted to feel like I belonged. I didn't want to. If I was gonna talk the talk, I wanted to walk the walk, as they say. So.
Over there.
Anything? Anyone? Bueller?
I have one more if there's
Okay,
not.
sure.
So I saw on your website all of your artwork.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your art? Yeah. Can you
Yes,
talk about
ma'am.
that a little bit?
Yeah, I went to college to wrestle and get a degree in art and graphic design, and I continued to work on my art, but I saw a starving artist sale on television where there were these master works of art, and they were selling them for like $20, and I realized that maybe I needed something a little more geared to success in the business world. So I got a degree in business communications, whatever that is. I'm not even sure. Like when they gave me my degree, I opened it up, I'm like, oh my God, they actually gave me a degree. But I continue to work on my art, and I'd like to do a show here soon. And my wife, when Warehouse 13 took off, she was like, the swag that Warehouse was putting out, that Sci-Fi was putting out, wasn't so great. So I started designing T-shirts, and I travel around the country, and I meet people and sell my T-shirts.
Nice.
And you have your prints on your site they can buy too, right? And I see.
Yeah, I have prints.
They're very cool. Guess to check them out.
Yes,
Amazing.
thank you.
I'm gonna give your website.
It's
name.
EddieMcClintock.com, and I make a fool out of myself on Twitter quite often at Eddie McClintock. So I love going on social media, and I love the fact that Twitter is 140 characters, so you have to be concise, and if you're trying to make a joke and you want it to be funny, you only have this many characters. So I practice just writing. I use Twitter and Facebook as kind of my blog. So
That's awesome.
Nice.
Very cool.
thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in tonight. We really
Thank
appreciate you
Thank
taking the time. It's
I
great.
hope that
I got
haven't.
a question.
Oh,
Yes.
hey.
What's your favorite wrestling move?
We must have a wrestler back there.
The high crotch, of course.
Funny, that's Stephanie's too.
Yeah, there you go. Wow. Well, that goes right with the Casper mattress. There you go.
Thanks, JJ.
Hey-oh.
He started it tonight. Come on.
It all falls apart.
But thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it, and it was really nice to hang out and talk to you guys. Yeah.
Thank
been
you.
a
We'll look
blast.
for you. We hope to see a lot more of you next season.
Thank
So.
you. Thank you.
All right, last time, where can everybody follow you guys at?
You can find me at Tauri J, TaurijJay.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Stephanie Wenger.
You can follow me on Instagram at Eddie McClintock, on Twitter at Eddie McClintock, and on Facebook at Eddie McClintock, because I'm original.
That's awesome. And you can follow me at JJ Jurgens on Twitter and JJ.Jurgens on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you again next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.